thirteenth.com.
It's time for the Playmaker Spotlight with Executive Coach and Vistage Chair, Dick Smith.
Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome once again to the Playmaker segment of the Get Down to Business radio show. I am your host, Dick Smith, the CEO, business coach, and award-winning chair for Vistage International. And tonight, I'm pleased to have with us on the program John Winzler. John is president of Winzler Gears. You're going to hear about this unique company through this interview. They're headquartered in Harwood Heights. From their website, the Winzler family has been in the gear business since 1920 when John's grandfather and his partner, Pete Jacobson, founded Reliance Die and Stamping in Chicago. In 1940, with a degree from Northwestern University's Mechanical Engineering School, John's dad, Harold, founded Winzler Manufacturing and Tool Company. John joined the family business, and today Winzler is known internationally as one of the premier designers and manufacturers of precision-molded plastic gears, and they produce well over 150 million gears annually. Wow. John Winzler, welcome to Playmakers.
Thanks, Dick. Happy to be here.
Glad to have you. Hey, John, it appears that Winzler Gear is like no other gear company I've ever come across, and I've kind of followed Tool and Die a little bit through my life. So truly one of a kind. Tell us a little bit about your unique manufacturing facility and what you call, and I call, your artful approach to what you provide the industry.
Well, Dick, it came about when I was a young man and early married. I was not a very successful, but enjoyed professional boat racing. And when I gave up my hobby to work in the family business and maintain my marriage, I decided to throw the same enthusiasm and what we learned from racing into my business. So I did very early on had the opportunity of coming in the family business and to make it my hobby. So what you see in our business is just what I'm all about. And it's about lessons learned from racing. It's about, as we've grown over time, the interest in art, design, fashion, and it's expressed in the way the machinery's painted, the art gallery and the plant, our interaction with art schools, fashion schools, design schools.
Very different. And you actually have a very interesting family history in Chicago manufacturing. Tell us a little bit more about that and how the company started when you took over.
Well, we're very proud of the fact that my mom's family came here to be professional bakers in the 50s, had a big commercial bakery, Piper Bakery, which was operating through the mid-50s. And my grandfather became a tool maker in the early 1900s. He formed his first company. Unfortunately, they lost it in the Depression. And it was a very, very big, serious setback. Partner committed suicide. Gramps ended up in a mental institution. Dad had the guts to start the company when he came out of engineering school, but only after he became a journeyman die maker like his dad. Post-Second War, rode the euphoria of growth in Chicago.
And tell us a bit about the connection to Old Town and Piper.
Well, yeah, the Old Town, Piper's Alley. My mother, who is 98, Ruth Piper Winzler, her family, that was a family bakery. And Second City used to be Grandpa's Horse Barn. We have the Adobo Grill, which was the retail bakery and Gramps' offices.
Gotcha. So tell us a little bit about your typical customer. Who is it that you make gears for?
Our customers, you may or may not hear of. We're working primarily with Tier 2, 3 automotive customers. So that and they're typically global customers. The interesting thing today is we have virtually no new American companies. They're primarily German, Italian, French, all over the world. They all have facilities in Detroit, as we're about 80% automotive. But we're making gears for somebody that's building a subsystem, a black box in some ways that may go in a door, in a seat, in a dash, on an engine, in a transmission, that makes your car run that you don't think about.
You know, we were talking earlier about the war on talent and how it's tough to attract good, talented people into the manufacturing facilities across the United States and in this town. So tell us a little bit about how you do that.
Well, we haven't got the magic bullet.
Not yet, huh?
Not yet. But what we've done, and a couple things in my philosophy is, number one, I can't motivate people with money or fear. All I can do is look for talent and see if it's talent we need in our organization, give them resources, give them education, and get out of their way.
Good for you.
And we're very, very proud of the fact that We have helped fund educations, because I think a lot of people know that in many small, medium-sized manufacturing companies, a good associate, we will fund their education. We funded everything from associate degrees at community college through graduate degrees, masters in business, and we'll continue to do that. We have always offered that. It's a challenge of finding people that come up with enough passion and desire to work days, go to school nights to make it happen. So I would tell you that we're very much about helping people grow and become what they think they want to be, as long as they can make a contribution to Winzler Gear.
Good. I want to get back to your involvement in high schools in particular and with schools in general. But before we do, I just want to remind everybody you're tuned into the Get Down to Business Playmakers Spotlight, and we're talking to John Winzler, president of Winzler Gears, headquartered in Harwood Heights. So tell me a little bit more about your involvement. Before we started, you were talking about the school districts and...
Well, Dick, I blame some of our inability to find hands-on technicians, these skilled workers we need today, on the fact that a number of years ago our high schools gave up their industrial arts programs and put in computer labs. We're definitely seeing a reversal of that today. We've got high schools today through our trade association that have never had machine shops that are now putting them in.
Right.
So that with some of the STEM and other activities going on, we're seeing a lot more about career and technical education as being the future, and it's the difference being is, and what most people don't understand is, it's learning what you want to be when you grow up, before you get your education.
Right.
We need the end result. We need the formal education, the critical thinking, the CAD, the math, all these critical skills to run this high-tech Star Wars equipment we have today, but we still need the hands.
Right.
And people will jump in and get, and you don't get your hands dirty in our plant today. But we're working with millions and millions of dollars of sophisticated equipment.
So it's changing that misconception that manufacturing is a dirty, hands-on kind of a process for younger people.
That's why we have an art gallery in our plant.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about that unique corporate culture you have in connection to the School of Art Institute and so forth.
Well, also, we did this partially because of this trying to create a future workforce. If you go by our plant, there we have a very high-tech, although it's a 50s building, it's been completely remodeled. There's no name on the front door. You walk in the front door, you're looking at pictures of fashion models and in jewelry that we've designed out of gears, and there's a gear dress made out of gears. Confuses people completely. They don't know if they're in a design studio, if we cut hair, just what we do. But we want to get them off guard so when they walk in the plant, and that's the whole idea of having all this art around the building is, where are we? What do we do here? And we like to think that we're trying to stimulate the whole brain, not just the analytical left brain thinking, but the right brain thinking that gets us to be more creative. I truly believe that the future, businesses are not going to be run by MBAs, they're going to be run by MFAs.
And MFA is?
Master of Fine Arts. So that the fact that we interact with the School of the Art Institute, one of the most phenomenal art design schools in the country, the School of the Art Institute of Chicago not only teaches the fine arts, but teaches industrial design, architecture, designed objects, and we work with all their faculty, which gives us a resource to help clients design innovative products as well.
And for our listeners, if you want to get a peek at this, go to his website. It's www.winzlergear, that's WINZELERGEAR.com, and you will be amazed at the photographs and the look and feel of that facility. Tell us, let's see, we were really quickly running out of time, but I did want to cover one thing. Tell us about your involvement with Bradley University and your partnership with DuPont, a long time
Well, I think this is as a small company, how do you look like a big company? And what we decided many years ago, and this goes back to a relationship my father started with DuPont in the early 60s, is that doing very deep relationship business today we call strategic collaborations. We have resources, whether it be our machine tool supplier, Engel of Austria, where we're a sales showroom. Our Engel salesman has a key to our plant, can run tours, has an office in our plant building. So in what way can we make 1 and 1 equal 3 or 4? And we do that by going deep. So Engel's our only machine tool supplier. DuPont's our only material supplier. Bradley, because we graduated from Bradley and have hired from Bradley, they're our research wing. And so we help students understand future careers in plastics. and use them for both undergraduate, graduate students to help us run research programs. In fact, we'll be down there later this month looking at some materials research.
Well, John, I'm afraid we're just about out of time, but I want to thank you, John Winzler, for being our guest. President of Winzler Gears, and again, check them out on their website, winzlergear.com. Thanks, John. I think our listeners are going to really enjoy getting to your website and finding out more about you. I'd like to thank our listeners for tuning in again to another segment of the Playmakers Get Down to Business radio show. Until next week, I'm Dick Smith, your CEO, coach, and award-winning Vistage Chair. You can reach me on LinkedIn or contact me at dick.smith@vistage.com. Now back to Shalom, Klein, and the rest of our Get Down to Business show.
The 2016 presidential